maybe one of them. Because I think you like those people with only one kidney. I think you'd be fine with one eyeball.
Yeah.
I mean, you're doing it now for the benefit of it says he's sort of doing a sort of pirate, or...
Yeah, I can still read everything, but I wouldn't be able to drive me.
Would you?
No, you can't drive, you only got sight one eye, so no depth of perception.
Well, that is the source of superb factoid to use for the show.
Ellis James and John Robbins podcast.
That was unfortunately by Massive Attack. You listen to Ellis James and John Robbins on XFM. But next time you listen to us, you'll be listening on Radio X. John and I would like to caution this en4cer666.
We'd like to quash all rumours that we're joining a different station on a big money deal, because that didn't come off. We did try. We're sticking around for the foreseeable. We're going to try and use increasing leverage. But we're very pleased to announce that we will be the flagship show, I think. I most talked about signing for Radio X.
Certainly, I think so. I think of all the new presenters on Radio X, I think we're the ones who give us the
Yeah, column inches wise, we're the talk of the relaunch.
Yeah, and I've been walking through town and people have been saying, oh, you're the new Radio X guys, right? Haven't heard of the rest of them. But this is, the Ellis James and John Robbins show. I can really feel what it's like.
So, folks, what we want to reassure you is that we will still be keeping it XFM, but under the broader brand of Radio X, and also we'll be legally allowed to say we're keeping it XFM, but we want you to know that in our hearts forever, we're keeping it XFM.
It will be our vibe. We'll be keeping it Radio X. But,
just so you know, has a limited time offer.
Yes.
Thank you. Well, like the Labour Party, Dennis Skinner and Tony Blair and everything in between. And you and me on the radio in a sort of quite a strange metaphor. We've got great music coming up from Fuckboy's Name and Comes to the Bottom End. You listen to Ellis James and John Robbins on X.
Ellis James and John Robbins podcast.
Hell of a price, huh?
On XFM.
Won't be here forever.
John, you were West London, my neck of the woods in Wales last week, weren't you? For Festival number 6.
I was in, how do you pronounce it?
Well, I mean, I'm going to accept that because it's a sort of an Italian-style village, isn't it? That's the thing. It's a tourist spot.
Yes, I was performing at a festival called Festival number 6, and it's in Fort Merriam, which is the maddest place on earth.
Yeah.
Good choice.
Feel like you're in a dream.
Yeah.
It's a little sort of Spanish/Italian village that's been built into an estuary in Wales. And,
guaranteed to turn heads before you blow them off.
It started at 3 in the afternoon, and I had to leave my house at 20 to 7 in the morning. I got up at 4:30 a.m. accidentally.
What you're doing.
I mean, good.
Yeah, so I just sat in my bed for an hour.
Right,
That's what I've got.
Just so you know,
I
there's
got
a
to the
limited
festival,
time offer.
and it's really great. It's a really sweet festival, quite compact. But I did start, and I've had this feeling before.
Got it.
At some festivals,
That'll hurt.
so much effort is made for it not to be like a festival, so you not have to go through a single hardship whatsoever.
Yeah.
So you could hire, it was being sort of part sponsored by Volvo, and you could hire Volvos to take you to the site.
Good news.
What?
I got
How
discounts
far
on
like
today.
brand new Volvos to drive you to the park and ride?
But that was like you walked.
Yeah, to walk.
So why would you need to hire a car?
Because Volvo need to get their brand out amongst the sort of the moneyed 30 to 40 somethings
Good point.
of the indie music.
That's why I don't work in
Fan base.
marketing. Okay.
And then you get there, and the first thing is a mobile phone charging station.
Lovely stuff.
I'm eating soon.
Like, bearing in mind at Woodstock, they only had enough food for the first 6 hours and no toilets. So
And it was 300,000 people as well.
yeah, there's a mobile phone charging station. There is a store where you can hire like little carts to drive around all of your stuff, or golf buggies to take you there. There's a concierge that can, that can go from where you're sat in the arena to the bar.
You're joking.
Yeah, there's a £2 deposit for Prosecco glasses.
Is that a lie?
No, that's not a lie. There was a medicine store, like a little sort of shop, like a little mini Boots, but not a Boots.
Wales has really changed since I've been there last.
Yeah. and there was a burger and lobster bar.
Shut up, you
No,
jerk.
that branded place in it's a chain, burger and lobster. There was a Nespresso sale kind of.
You're on your foot of my leg, no way.
There was a Nespresso, like, you know when a card. No, here's exactly what it was like. You know when a new builder flats go up, they have a little showroom.
Oh yeah.
It was like one of those with an Nespresso.
That's a music festival.
Yeah, so, and it was built, it was like a proper building that had been temporarily built. So you go in, and all throughout the day, every hour, there were different Nespresso events. So you could go to an Nespresso tasting, you could go to a Nespresso food combination seminar.
You could see somebody on an espresso come down because they'd had too many espressos.
And it struck me, but this is common across all music festivals, that so much is laid on to make you basically feel like you're in a shopping centre. But part of me thought, you know, something about the festival experience is getting muddy, not being able to wash, your phone running out of signal.
You become constipated.
Yeah, not going to an espresso tasting seminar.
No, you leave that until you're at home.
So what we want to know from you this week,
What y'all
folks, is
thinking?
what things would you ban from festivals? So in a sense, what I'm saying is I'd like to ban a few mod cons.
Right, so
Because you spend all the time worrying about your phone signal and phone charge.
Yes,
And also, I mean, if you think you can get 3G in Port Merion, you are having absolute laugh.
yes, I'm. Yeah, who wants it? Nobody.
Part of the fun of going to Reading when I was a kid, knowing your phone would run out within the first 2 hours, and you would have to leave things to charge. Bump into people.
I'll meet you by the tree the second one along from left if you're on the stage left-hand side. Yeah,
And they're not at the tree, so you meet up with a group that you don't know, or come up with a girl, you get depressed, she leaves, her boyfriend turns up, you start screaming.
Yes, a version of that happened to me at Green Man because I'd lost my phone, my ashtray, my car, which I didn't realise had a lid. And I agreed to meet people by the tree. They didn't turn up, but I didn't fall in love with anyone. I watched furries by myself, and then I went home.
So that's what we're trying to bring back to festivals, folks.
Yes,
So
solitude.
we're going to read out some of your suggestions for things you like banned from music festivals soon, but right now, Jonathan wants to spend a couple of weeks on a sad mistake. He's going out, his gran's got a fish and chip shop out there. It's called Great British Fish and Chips, and he's off to Barcelona. Oh, you pack your sun cream, George. It's quite hot out of Barcelona.
Ellis James and John Robbins on XFM podcast.
That was Fatboy Slim with Right Here, Right Now. Well, right here, right now. Oh, God. That's the worst. That's the worst thing I've said. Right here and right now, we are going to talk about something that happened this week because I played Transport Agony Aunt with Mr. Ellis James. On Tuesday night, my phone rang at 12. I thought it's just one of Ellis's classic. John, I want to be as good a broadcaster as you. I'm losing confidence or your links are too slick. The way you use the song titles to segue into the next bit, I can't compete with it. I need the G'ing up.
I tried once, you gave me short shrift, and I've never done it again because it was quite mean, some of the things you said, but that's fine.
But no, Ellis was in a Transport Pickle. Ellis, tell the listeners.
Right, back from a Welsh language gig in Swansea that had gone absolutely swimmingly. Thank you to the people who turned up. I'm driving home. Junction 20 to 19 on M4 eastbound.
It's my stomping ground. It's the Almondsbury interchange.
It's Bristol, it's Filton, it's Thornbury.
It's where the M5 meets the M4 in one of the great motorway T junctions.
Exactly, I couldn't have put it any better myself. Anyway, they've closed the motorway. All the signs say follow the diversion, follow the diversion. I'm like, no problem. I followed the diversion. I ended up back in Wales, and before where I started. Okay, I thought, oh, it's fine, I know. I did sometimes on my journey, but I'm fine with it, I'm fine. So I followed the diversion again, and I followed all the signs, and I ended up on the same back in Wales. In Wales, I thought I'm going to have to pay for the Severn Bridge. If this keeps happening, I can't believe this is happening. At which point, I lost my rag because the signs were wrong, poorly signposted. So I thought, what am I going to do? I'm going to pull over and I'm going to call Robbins, right? And Robbins was superb. It was like textual healing, but he only gave a very serious answer about the en4cer6 and going through chipping Sodbury and
Yate, chipping Sodbury, en4cer6, back on.
Meet the M4, Junction 18, superb. John, I think I would suspect had maybe had a couple of drinks.
Yeah, me and my girlfriend were watching The American Office. I'd moved from ales to rums.
But you only had one or two, so, he was still, his mind was clear as a bell. He instantly got a map out. I felt becalmed. I felt soothed. Yeah, I just loved the way that John went, I mean, it's going to be a bit of a pain. It's going to be a bit of a pain in the neck, Ellis, but you're going to have to go Yate to Chipping Sodbury, en4cer6, and meet the M4 at Junction 18. Because I was like, what if I go back on the loop, John? What if I go back on the loop?
Essentially, folks, what I'm guessing is that the first turn Ellis made onto the diversion was his mistake. It should have sent him back through Bristol and then out onto the Bath turning. But he wasn't to be trifled with at this time.
Certainly not. What I loved with John, it was the right amount of concern, the right amount of sympathy. Didn't go overboard, didn't become annoying.
Basically, if you work for the Highways Agency or are a fan of late night motorway travel, that's probably one of the most satisfying links you've ever heard in your entire life.
Yes.
If, however, you are a fan of the great new music that we're playing on XFM, I can understand you may be a bit confused.
But do you know what annoys me? Not everyone has a Robbins to ring.
That's true.
And if only everyone had a Robbins to ring, but I don't know how that could work. Maybe, John, could you set up some sort of service, maybe buy a second phone so you don't get hassled too much? I don't know.
Yeah, or people could just always have a map in their car.
Good shout.
XFM, Ellis James and John Robbins on XFM podcast.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for regular feature Humble Brag of the Week.
XFM.
So tired after the BAFTAs. The problem with being so beautiful is that some people don't take me very seriously. XFM's, it's XFM's. Humble brag of the week.
That's right, team. It's the feature that's taking the airwaves by storm. We ask you to scour your social media feeds for those frustrating, toe-curling brags disguised as not brags. What's the opposite of a brag?
Being humble.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's kind of encapsulated in the name, really.
Yeah.
Anyway, so we've got 3 belters for you this week. We always keep the people anonymous to encourage you to send them in. This is the one I wish most that I could actually retweet. It's a photo of a man buying a magazine in a sort of a corner shop. And it says, "A moment of extreme embarrassment when Men's Fitness didn't send me a copy of the cover I was on, so I had to buy it." And to just describe the photo to you, it's completely orchestrated.
Yeah.
So there's someone who's taking the photo. He's faking an expression of embarrassment, and the woman behind the counter looks absolutely baffled. And
he certainly doesn't look like he's working undercover for the FBI.
No.
It looks like a male model orchestrating a picture where he buys a magazine with him on the front cover.
Yeah, it's just the worst. Ellis, what have you got?
Hashtag that feeling when you see your record in your favourite hashtag record store. I don't think that's a particularly
Marcel,
set of hashtags.
No.
Hashtag that feeling, thinking, oh, I know, for instance, like, when I got stuck on motorway, I knew it so badly by the time I got to Simpsons, I'd have a sit down.
Or when you get the milk for your morning cup of tea and it's bloody gone on.
Yes, that is relatable, that feeling. I'm useful if my bits are going to fall off, but that is a discussion for a different time. So I just, come on, guys, most of the followers will have records in their favourite record store. Come on.
And now,
How's our guy? Did he throw up in the back seat yet?
And I'm going to...
Don't worry, we get those things sluiced out at the end of every shift anyway.
Because it is from Mr. Ellis James! What? Oh!
Hey, whoa.
I was contacted by a number of people who sent me the following. Me having a drink at a football match in Cyprus is now a news story in Australia. Why is this happening? Oh, Ellis, it's so terrible that your life has become the news.
Well, it is.
You're so famous. And all of your things go viral when none of my things go viral, which gets stolen like idiot listeners.
It is terrible in the sense that I now could walk into a pub in Cardiff on Sunday without people patting me in the back going, I expect you to be in a right state. Great.
It's so difficult being this famous and having your life plastered
But
all
me
over.
an alcoholic? Well, I'm not. I'm a fun-time drinker.
Why is this happening? I didn't do anything to ask for all this fame and attention.
Stop doing such an accurate impression of me!
Ellis James is getting fumbled around in the week.
The fault of the second time it's happened.
Ellis James and John Robbins podcast. XFM.
Because of John's experience at the festival in 6 in Port Marion in North Wales, where he thought that too much was laid on to prevent him from feeling that he was missing out on home comforts. This morning we asked what you would have banned from modern music festivals. John?
We've had this from Liam Claffey. He says, bandanas, people who wear them either to look like a ridiculous gangster or a 50s housewife cleaning up. Stop dressing like it's the 50s.
Yeah.
It's not the 50s.
No. And those big beards, it's not the Boer War.
It's not the Boer War or the 50s.
The Boer War was bad.
Yes, and the 50s were bad for women.
And rationing.
Yeah.
If you were a woman and you liked sugar, the 50s was rubbish.
You've got a polka dot dress, bright red lipstick, and a handkerchief in your hair, and your hair's up in a quiff like it's the 50s.
And you're not 8.
Yeah, then just take a look in history and think about what it might have been like to be a housewife in the 50s.
Thank you, John. I mean, it was probably fine.
Absolutely, I'm not quite sure what my point is there. Was it bad in the 50s?
Yeah.
Hashtag feminism.
Yeah. Drunk Welsh.
Hashtag free the nipple.
I would bang drunk Welshmen falling asleep. I would bang drunk Welshmen falling asleep because they can't handle their beer. Hashtag not such. Oh, he's making a reference to me. Fair enough. Yes, very good.
This from McLeod. Corporate sponsorship. This edgy cool music festival is brought to you by BP. That was his quote.
Yes. I've got one from Paul. Middle class, rude word parents dragging babies through the mud in little trolleys with fairy lights on at stupid o'clock at night. I don't know why you'd want to bring. I am a baby. I do not want to change a nappy at a festival that's already covered in human waste.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, I just think it's insanity. Keep them home. Keep them home. Lads who think it's great laddie banter to set off a flare. Reading is full of that.
Oh, yeah.
When I went to the Reading Festival last, everything was on fire.
Yeah.
And I just thought, I think I'm either having an anxiety tree or I'm at Reading.
This from Simon. I would ban Carling, Tuborg, brackets who, and Brothers, aka Robinsons, fruit ciders, especially when £6 each. Couldn't agree with you more, Simon.
Yes.
Fairness to Festival number 6, they had a sort of a tent from the local ale distributor, and they had 4 different ales on offer, all of which were lovely.
Session?
I kept it absolutely session with a little 3.6, and then I went to the ale shop in Porthmadog the next day and bought bottles of those said ales and a bottle of Quitch.
What's that?
That's a Welsh word, isn't it? C-W-Y.
Oh, Kutch.
Yeah. What's it mean?
It means lots of things, but it means sort of cutbull, basically.
And this was the champion beer of Britain, as voted for by Camera in 2015.
Oh, God, I'm going to get patriotic again. I think we should play some music.
Ellis James and John Robbins podcast.
The intensest feature on World Radio, it's Winner Plays On. That's right, every week. John and I, we compete over 5 questions on our chosen specialist subjects, and the winner gets to play the track of their choice. So,
We
John,
selling?
what
Okay. The buyer
My
wants it
track
airdropped.
is
The product's loaded and waiting at the helipad.
Righto, and
my topic is Alt Band for the second week.
my topic is Gareth Bale, and my track will be Trash by Sway. So John, you'd like to toss the coin?
Hang on, toss that probably just for the rough down.
Tails for Bale, please.
It is Tails for Bale.
Right, so I'm going to ask you questions on the phone first.
Okay, cool.
Here we go. Question number 1.
Nick Banks.
Correct. When did Russell Senior, the guitarist, find his quit?
1997.
1996.
Ah! You sure?
According to Wikipedia, yeah. How many times did they headline the Grimmed stage at Glastonbury?
Twice.
Correct. What was the first single from This Is Hardcore?
Help me Agent.
Correct. And what is the band's 6 stunt reference to?
Oh, it was the liner notes to different. It was the liner notes to an album which you could use to. Well, the suggestion was you could use to maybe take drugs out of it.
It was the liner notes to Salt Creek Whiz, which had imagine sort of an amateur rap and fancy stuff Daily Mirror headline. So
I think that's it.
I'll give them half a point. What? Well, I mean, you see for his album and it's a single, and they changed the liner. They released
A liner notes to make drugs out of.
Yeah, but you got
That's exactly what he did.
yes, but it was a single and not the album.
Well, that's not a problem.
Gossip crosses to God fail.
Oh,
He's gonna get upset again.
I think that's a decent answer. Okay, 5 questions on Gareth Bale starting now. What number does Gareth Bale wear for Real Madrid? 11. Correct. How many goals has Gareth Bale scored for Wales senior team? 80. Correct. How much did Tottenham pay Southampton for Bale? 7.5 million. 7 million. What primary school with only one vowel in its name did Bale attend?
I went to a church high as the one primary school went to. Eglwys Yes, hilarious is another language.
Hilarious. What was the only honour Bale won in the English domestic leagues?
Oh, Tottenham, presumably it would have been the League Cup.
Correct, in 07-08. That gives you, Ellis, 3 points to my 3.5. That's half point for my correct answer.
Oh my
The whole point.
God, the switchboards are going to be ablaze.
Twitter board.
The Twitter board, yeah. I mean, I'm quite into all of this.
That's like if they had tweets in the picture.
It's like a switchboard, you don't want to putting up somebody wires out.
Yeah, but putting up letters for the tweets. Anyway, I win. I'm the best. So to celebrate me being the best, we will now play Swords of Threes and Wins by their Majesties.
Ellis James and John Robbins podcast on XFM.
That was Power Britpop Combo Pulse. You're listening to James and John Robbins. That was my treat for winning Winner Plays On, and Ellis needs to pick a new topic for next week. What's it going to be?
I'm sure you'll find this hilarious. The Welsh language.
Well, as a whole,
All of it.
I look forward to that. Brilliant. So I will research 5 questions on the Welsh language. Do you know every word in Welsh?
No.
All right.
Do you know every word in English?
Yes.
You don't?
Yes, I do.
You said you can't spell every word in English.
We played a game at Festival number 6, whereby if you wanted to come sit at the front, you have to name a Welsh military authority. And they were relatively good. One woman just made one up, and I believed it because that's the thing with Welsh.
Oh my god.
We suggested that if you were trying to speak Welsh, you could just riff it, and people probably would have said,
Welsh authorities, what are the big 22?
yeah, we probably got about 10.
I love going out for a drink at the Badinage in Empton Farms.
Yeah.
Especially if it's military authority based.
There's one with water in it that sounds like a company. Is that right?
I don't know, maybe that was one the woman made up. Oh, okay.
It sounded like a water company.
Oh, right. Well,
Like Kent in what?
XFM. Ellis James and John Robbins on XFM podcast.
Folks, that was Blur. You're listening to Ellis James and John Robbins on XFM. And we actually let us know what things you found interesting. We've had some great suggestions. We've also had some that I think were practical. Ricky tweets in to say tents. I always end up falling over them. I'm not sure that's a viable suggestion.
I mean, the weather conditions would have to be so huge
Yes.
for you to ban tents from sort of all festivals.
A few people, including a friend of the show, Andrew O'Neill, have tweeted in to say people.
Yes,
Ban
yes,
people.
yes, I got that. I got probably 20 tweets from people.
I do understand that, but again, I think that's impractical.
The festival is, I mean, it's going to make it terrible for my property for one if you ban people. Well, we had lots of messages from Madden. Her third one was Native American headwear. Why would Native American? No, you're seeing my people. You look like a massive idiot that needs this one weekend of the year to gather as much attention as possible because the rest of your life is so boring. That's my last message. I'm going for a night out. And someone replied to her message with, good effort, lads.
This from Johnny. I ban instruments brought by anyone who isn't performing. It's like taking your own sandwiches to a buffet. Awful.
Yeah! start at Glastonbury. No one wants to hear you unless you're, a musician who's been paid to perform. My voice becomes low before I let
XFM, Ellis James and John Robbins on XFM podcast.
Time, ready for future textual healing. My girlfriend never puts the leads on anything. My dad, he basically just lifts women. Oh God, sir, I'm in a relationship with one of her. Textual. That's right, folks. It's time for the part of the show where we solve listeners' problems live on air. And right now we've got Sylvan on line 2. Sylvan, there.
I am here, hello.
Hello there. Thanks very much for calling. Where are you calling from?
I am calling from just outside of Bath, in Cambridge.
Oh, righto. Lovely part of the world, my neck of the woods there. What's your problem, Sylvan?
I've been decorating my spare room, and I've got alcoves in the side of the tree there. And I've painted the walls of the spare room a lovely, it's called Halloween Wedding. It's a lovely orange colour from B&Q.
Sounds Halloween the wedding.
Halloween Wedding is the name of the orange. Yeah,
Are you to the roof?
not permission for my lodge there, but my lodge is staying there.
I hope they're blind.
Where, well, he was away in August.
Yeah.
I don't really like it, and I'm totally honestly trying to get him out.
Nice.
Oh, yeah, wow, okay. But it's quite, it's a bold colour, but what I'm really proud of the wallpaper that I put in the alcove. It's all the Kylie.
It's all the Kylie's leaves.
All the Kylie design there.
Oh, right.
All the Kylie is a design. You wouldn't see the stuff, it's sort of retro. And I've come back to the alcove. But now I really like it, but I've always planned to shell the alcove. And I don't really know what to do.
Right, okay. Well, I think it depends really how bad what you do for Roger and if you've got plenty of space to decorate when it's Roger moves. Because
I think if you're using designer leaves in an alcove in the spare room, then you've got money to spend.
yeah.
I've got, and also when my lodge doesn't pay me rent.
Oh,
Okay.
No, don't do it. Is this sort of a case of reverse Stockholm syndrome, where you learn to hate the person you're keeping hostage? Try and get rid of them. So what you don't know is whether to shelve the alcoves or not.
I don't know whether, so the wallpaper is beautiful, but I wonder if it should stand on its own and be seen by the world, or whether I should alcove it and put books on those alcoves and the wallpaper will sort of pop a little bit.
I think personally, Sylvan, you can never have enough shelves. If you bought the house and it's there to stay, you're going to acquire things, Sylvan. And I just think, to be honest, as nice as the leaf kind of oak wallpaper sounds, you want to get some shelves together.
How about you do sort of a sort of a compromise whereby you have little sort of square cube shelf boxes around the leaves as if they're fruit on the tree, and then put maybe up to sort of 5 or 6 books at a time per cube, like apples on the tree.
You're listening to Ellis James and Lawrence Llewellyn Bowen on XFM. I think
That's a really good idea.
John's apps.
So incorporate shelves into the most.
I hope that's sorted you out there, Sylvan.
Oh, thank you very much for your help. It's been amazing.
No problem. Thanks for ringing. Goodbye.
Bye. Bye.
There we go. An interior design problem solved. We'll have another one on the next show.
Ellis James and John Robbins podcast. XFM.
Very plush festival number 6 in Cotton in North Wales last week. This morning, that's what you have banned from festivals. I had an absolute belt. Excessive crochet. Excessive crochet angel wings from floral wreaths. Floral wreaths. Well, no, like there's like dad, like at those weddings. Like with the graves and jumping to these days.
This from Alison on Facebook. Poppers and Diablos. I couldn't agree with you more, Alison. There's a lot of people wanting to ban poi. Fire poi.
Yeah. Also, I mean, this is an old one, but those flags, especially at Glastonbury, I mean, that's got to be more of a pain, more of a hindrance than a help to your festival experience, sticking a huge flag.
But also, it means that you can't see the bands. All the people who put to Glastonbury this year were using loads of flags.
Yeah, there's been that Wolves flag at Glastonbury for about 20 years, and I still have to admire that because it's tenacity.
This from Edward. Louts, ruffians and lawbreakers. Can't anyone just be nice and have a nice time? I couldn't agree with you more.
Yeah, it's like this is one doing anarchy music. Not sure how a festival works then, but still, thanks for getting in touch.
Someone tweeted to say, the drug dealer that stole our tent. awful business. Anyway, if you are going to a festival, let me enjoy it.
Yeah. Yeah, remember you're only young once. You're listening to Ellis James and John Robbins on XFM.
Ellis James and John Robbins podcast.
Lyro, you're listening to Ellis James and John Robbins on XFM for the last time. The show's not leaving. It's fine. We're continuing to broadcast. However, the next time you hear us will be on bright, sparkling station Radio X, bringing you the best in rock-based guitar music. I'm pretty sure that's not the slogan.
No, and according to some of the tweets we've had, we provide passable entertainment for this will stay.
Yeah, we will continue to broadcast alongside some of the newest names in radio royalty: Chris Moyles, Johnny Vaughan, and Vernon Kay.
Yes,
What a bunch of guys.
what a rogues garden.
Yeah, I'm sure Chris Evans will be hanging around the building.
Oh,
And that guy Jim Five Pints. What was his name?
5 pennies. What was he said? 5 pennies was Gazza, probably Gazza's best friend from home. And he was on the doors, he used to follow Gazza around, but then Gazza would play pranks on him, and he would stop him from going back to Newcastle to sign on, so there was some benefits to stop because Gazza had put hair cream in his hair gel, so he was bald.
Oh,
And
God.
Yeah, that was awful.
Imagine if they're hanging around the gas, which would be fine, really.
So yeah, he was doing that sort of thing. He was sort of generating the wine Jimmy 5 pennies out. It was just classic sort of mid-90s lad banter, like Jimmy 5 pennies didn't like spicy foods, you put chili in his sort of mash. Jimmy 5 pennies like, it's so spicy for me, Paul, I can't feel my nose, like.
But the problem is, once you set up that dynamic in a friendship, you're then responsible for that person's financial upkeep forever.
Yeah, I mean, who knows if Gavin thought that far ahead? You know, I don't know. Presumably he had. Let's hope he had. And if you're listening to 5 pennies, that's the flag.
I'm sure he found it quite galling to not stay in touch with Gazza when Gazza tried to take lager and chicken to Ralmo's.
Yeah.
5 days ago. Oh, come on, dude. Yeah, come on. He's on a bad thing there. I just need a career like it.
I mean, I did hang about with you from wars to the 90s when you were at Lazio and I was going back to Newcastle to sign on and you were putting hair removal cream in the chair. But anyway, yes, Jimmy, get in touch, mate. 83936. Tweet us at XFM.
Ellis James and John Robbins podcast on XFM.
That was Church's David Trace. Not good advice if you're a murderer. I shouldn't offer you not to do this. My advice, get some of those little foot, like carpets, or those little tents you put on your feet. Oh, like on a hospital ward.
Yes, you could do that. Or
Basically, you need a way into a friend's to get some of their kit.
yeah, snowshoes. They're not. I mean, snowshoes have then destroyed the snowshoes.
Yeah, but the snowshoes themselves leave traces
Yeah.
of DNA.
Good point. To be honest, I think it's quite reassuring that both of us are so bad at murdering.
If you want to commit the perfect murder, random, Latin America, fly straight home. Leave all the evidence behind. They're not going to come.
Yeah, do wash your hands.
Always take some hand sanitizer.
Oh yeah. God, I bet the police hate hand sanitizer.
Oh, it's their kryptonite.
FM. Ellis James and John Robbins on XFM podcast.
Now, folks, it's time to hear from you in regular feature. Telegram service left.
Yeah.
And that may be shocking to hear. Some of you may want to bury your heads in the sand. But it's time to face up to the reality that email, I would say, is going to be the most popular form of communication within 10 years.
It's a terrifying thought. It is terrifying. Anyway, an early adopter of email, John, has contacted the show. And I know her, your significant husband.
Right.
That's right. Your girlfriend has emailed the show. Now, I know the show. Yeah, she's emailed me. She's emailed me for the show, so you haven't seen this, so that's a surprise, John. Anyway, it's fine. I've given it a quick skim.
Lynn, have you seen this email?
I've scanned it. I'm sure it's fine. Here we go. Dear the Ellis and John show, please can this be read out by Ellis for personal reasons, because I find your voice less. Oh, you're honest. Please don't mention my name, but I'm wondering. I'm John Robbins' current girlfriend. And I just had to write in blah blah blah, some quip about email and how you have to be on it these days. As you know, John recently went away to Edinburgh for a month to perform his skit. While he was away, I decided to listen to the Ellis and John podcast show because I missed my boyfriend who was not very forthcoming on the telephone. I agree there. I was kept very entertained, but of a few issues that I would like rectified. Number one, John now addresses me around the house as a podcast devotee, which I find very irritating. Podcast might have been interested. Also, I doubt any other of your podcast devotees will warn off certain episodes because their boyfriend tells them they won't like it. I should have to mention that I saw her Sarah Wayne Callie. She's in The Walking Dead. She's so beautiful, she's very jealous. Number two, John gives a very one-sided report of events that concern us both. For instance,
that's my, as is my right.
Yeah, well, for instance, it's her right to reply. For instance, his search history was nowhere near as exciting as he makes it sound. His ale sessions are romanticised, but in reality, he often ends up crying along to sad animal video compilations on YouTube. Everyone is home to the Southside Awards left the party to escape him.
That's not true. A couple of people.
I mean, Neil Morrison was quite shitty. Number three, can you get to stop telling everyone that I'm in top tax bracket? Thanks, Ellis. I hope you're well and enjoy your media and on.
Okay, well there you go. In future, can we please run those tiny before the show?
Because you surprise me all the time on this show, and yet I've never done it to you because I'm too nice. I thought that was too golden opportunity. I couldn't let it go.
Yeah, that was a good email from a non there who obviously has some inside info.
Yeah.
Just to put a few things to rights. The South Bank show, which we talked about a few months ago, I was on great form, and I actually left to get a taxi when I realised I couldn't stand up without the aid of chairs. So I think I did dodge that one well.
Yeah.
Animal compilations late at night can be quite hard. When you see a dog, give me a nod at dog, mouth-to-mouth resuscitation on the motorway. If you don't cry at that, then you've got a heart made of stone. And also, she has been talking about the podcast a lot, so she's technically a podcast devotee.
Yes. I mean, I don't feel able to make that claim, but if you think she's a devotee, then that's fine by me.
Okay, so if you want your email to be read out, folks, then it's Saturday at xfm.co.uk. But that's all we have time for today on this show. As we said earlier, the next time you hear us, it will be as Radio X.
That's right. So thank you very much for listening. Keep it Radio X. Goodbye. Goodbye.
If you like this podcast, why not check out some of the other great ones available to download at xfm.co.uk. XFM.
X, Ellis James and John Robbins. Radio X.
That's Johnny.
I'm eating an eclair because Ben asked me if I wanted a beer, and I really did, but I said no, and then I gave myself an eclair thinking not having a beer.
But it's not.
Today I've had 4,000 eclairs.
It's not one of those eclairs that you get into a cartoon with cream. There's some chocolate ones.
Classic Cadbury's.
Classic Cadbury's.
Sort of one they ask you if you want a bag of for £1 for the expense.
Yes, if you bought the Daily Telegraph.
No, if you bought anything, it's insufferable. Do you want a bag of things for £1? Absolutely not. But yes, actually now I do. I'll have a bag of eclairs.
item.
Oh, I love them. I love chewy things.
Do you like Chewits?
Yes, I do like Chewits. I used to love sour Chewits.
Oh, no.
Oh, yes.
And then, as an adult, you went on to like Toby.
Yeah. Just remember, this is going to be the first podcast.
Yes, good point.
Radio X, slick, vibe-tastic, groove heavy. What's your favourite Chewit? Let us know.
Yes, so if you're a brand new listener, because you listened to us live first time this week, welcome.
Welcome. Kim-Pedersen. I'm guessing that's Welsh for welcome.
That's Croeso I Gymru as well as Wales.
What did I say?
Nothing. Just letters and words.
Yeah, it's all the same, isn't it? So this is the Ellis James and John Roberts podcast on Radio X. Do check out the back catalogue to get a little bit of insight into some of the running jokes we have going around the studio. I don't want anyone to feel left out of our wacky dealings.
Yeah, a mere 75 episodes?
83, mate.
Is it 83?
Yeah.
So, for instance, if you're going on holiday and you do 10 a day, you know, you can be done by the time you get back if it's a long shot. So, you know, I'm not actually planting seeds, just planting seeds.
Today's show was good. We were on a new studio, new system. I was a bit grumpy at the start because I couldn't log in. But apart from that, it was okay. I managed to get the whole show without mentioning XFM, and then the last link we did mention it 3 times.
Okay, we're attempting some discretion here and pretend.
Keep the home straight. It was 12:07. We were about to, and then you can see it all fell apart. Solitude tear rolling down his cheek. I did mention, so I thought that was cruel.
We got a great email here from Anonymous, which will become clear as to why. Sorry, I just had a gurgle. A few weeks ago, you will recall a couple of correspondents who variously had issues with the impact that your show was having on their partner's behavioural patterns. At the time, of course, you treated it after the manner in which it appeared. A light-hearted, frothy joke was enough to put the matter to bed. But I have to advise you that there is a very serious side to this. I myself have fallen victim to the phenomenon, as yet unnamed, where regular exposure to Mr. Robbins in particular can have long-term detrimental effects on the psyche. Trust me, mate, I've been doing it for 30 years. It's a living hell.
It's a living hell for you.
Don't get me wrong, such is the character, some may say soul of Mr. James, that without really meaning to, he can change behaviour patterns, slowly, insidiously, a sudden fondness for gawky zygotic monkey, a tenderness towards the dipsomaniac after barely 2 ales. But Mr. Robbins' pull towards his own mindset is thus far the one that has had Samaritan switchboards lighting up. It started perhaps a year ago, maybe 18 months. It starts with the podcast, like so much cheap street skag. This is bountiful and free. And although you've heard the shows, you won't listen again, as they would say were you a part of the corporation. Then the specials, Aratap, of course, the greatest hit shows, the Blackburn compilation. And then you want more, and find yourself in a dark room just north of Soho, and the strains of One Vision, the single version, comfort you as you prepare to slip into the arms of quality banter again. Supported by a loving family, the side effects are almost negligible. You are functioning. A few weeks ago, both my wife and son were away. Now I've had an ambivalent relationship with Queen for some time. I liked them when it wasn't cool to do so, legend. I was there at Wembley in '86. Holy crimes. You were there? The first CD I bought was A Night at the Opera, but as I grew and opened my mind to more, I began to dismiss them as punk rock and intimate again. A comedy Led Zeppelin, if you will. As my resolve hardened, it became fashionable to like them again. That never happened. But I resisted. I couldn't be that shallow. I shouldn't. Despite this, little else to do. I sat down and watched that documentary. You know, the one. Well, it's either The Great Pretender or The Days of Our Lives. The one that's on news for all the time. So and then I went into started to look for unusual versions of their songs. Versions, then studio outtakes. And then I found a seam of individual tracks from the master tapes. I have also found those masters. And started making ringtones. Thank God, after 3 or 4 days, my family intervened, having discovered me wild-eyed to the fate of the night. And I'm beginning to recover. I've been able to return to work part-time, and I've been even able to watch 3 or 4 minutes of Flash before needing only a mild sedative. But to complete my catharsis, and as a warning to others, I'll be sending Mr. Robbins compact discs of the tracks I downloaded. Thanks, mate. In the hope that, like some great burning star, he can consume it and remove it from the orbit of the weaker amongst us. May Freddie have mercy upon his soul. I hope you understand, remain anonymous. Well, great email, Anonymous.
Freddie, this listeners who made the switch to sort of Radio X. Errata stands for Robins Amongst the Pigeons, which was, believe it or not, the title of John's autobiography, which he used to read from every week, and we started doing it live.
Yeah, and you can, if you look through the past podcasts, there's a special which is all of that in two halves, without any of the sort of chat. It's just the edited highlights of the biography, so do check that out. Also, podcast devotees, now you have the chance to listen live much more frequently, because Radio X is broadcast across the nation on digital. So turn your dial till it hits some style, and then relax for a while with Radio X.
It went from sort of Bronx to Chipping Norton in the space of one rhyme.
So we'd love to have some podcast devotees listening live. Until then, it remains for us to say goodbye.
Yes, I feel bad about that email we got that said we were too beer. It's really affected me.
But now I'm off the booze for a while, so it'll be less beery.
Yeah, so it was from Andrew, wasn't it? I can't remember. I don't know if you got it right.
He said it was like listening to a Loaded podcast.
Yeah.
Which is very funny if you know either of me or Ellis.
Yes. Also, I used to think that the family used to talk about drinking today. It's tempered for the fact that I read sort of 1940s Welsh comedies to remind me of those on topics. And John was it the Wasteland, TSM, etc., etc. But still, so, John's off the booze now. For a while.
When you least expect it. Strike you in the line. I think I'm going to try and...
John's winking at me.
I'm going to try and hold off. Me and my friend Robin are going to see the Mothers of Invention live in Bristol in October.
Oh,
my skin's cleared up remarkably.
Look, and I don't use this word lightly. Absolutely stunning.
My girlfriend said last night, your skin looks incredible. I thought that damage was going to be permanent. Well, what do you even mention I damaged skin before?
You just look glowing.
Thanks, mate.
You look like
a pregnant lady.
Yes, you look like second trimester pregnant lady. You've got that lovely burst of energy that they sometimes get. Not all, but some do. And also, you've had, do you know what it is? You haven't seen some old X-ray. This kids will love this kind of thing. Picnic. And now you're coming home, you're like, I'm such a cheese of toast like that.
I've been drinking a lot of green tea.
You look nice.
And watching Great Documentary.
There's a lot of caffeine.
Not true.
Yeah, it is. No, I thought I was like,
not true. Looked it up online last night. It is not true.
Online.
There is caffeine in green tea, but there's remarkably little. There's about a third of the caffeine that's in a small cup of coffee.
Well, surely it's differentiates between the brands.
And it differentiates between brew time
and quality. This intro is 9 minutes long. Yeah! Yeah! Chew it! Yeah, right. Okay, anyway, thanks for downloading the podcast. You're all great.
Yeah, you're all great.
Yeah. You're all great. Thank you for downloading. We're on Radio X 10 until 1 every Saturday.
Listen live.
Thank you very much. Goodbye.
Bye, Ellis James and John Robbins. Radio X. That was Morrissey with Suedehead. This is Radio X and broadcasting live to the nation for the first time. I am John Robbins, and to my left is the owner of the first most profitable small holding in Carmarthen. It's Mr. Ellis James.
Good morning, John. How are you?
I'm good. It's mainly hens, isn't it, Ellis?
Yeah. Hens. It's sort of egg-based. To be honest, I give a lot of the eggs away to the community.
How are you doing, El?
Great. Really, really positive.
For those of you who are new to Ellis James and John Robbins, we've been broadcasting here for some time, but we are now national. It's Radio X. The studio is new.
It's a new door.
Ellis, are you confused by the new studio?
Yeah, it's very flash. There's lots of sort of Chris Moores has left lots of, sort of coffee cups hanging around. That's the sort of guy he is. So it's quite a sort of the boat that rocked vibe to it.
And to just introduce ourselves to anyone not familiar with our work, I'm just going to read direct from the Radio X website, because I think more than anything we can say, they've really captured the essence of what we bring to this show. The comedy equivalent of Alien vs. Predator take up at Radio X Saturday at 10 a.m. Who will triumph? When two internationally renowned stand-up comedians meet, sparks will fly.
John, great radio's not a competition.
Exactly.
Great entertainment is there for all.
Firstly, as you pointed out, it sounds like we don't know each other or like each other. Also, Alien vs. Predator, what does that mean?
Yeah, I got seen the film.
Oh, it's absolute doo-doo.
So, which one's which?
Well, the problem with comparing two people to Alien vs. Predator is that they're both pretty similar. They're both sort of extraterrestrial beings. They're both quite strong. They're both quite violent.
Oh, well,
what would be if we could replace Alien vs. Predator with two separate things to describe us? What would it be?
Tea and coffee.
I think that would put more people off than Alien vs. Predator.
Yeah, I don't know, ham and brie.
No, again, I think that means to think, not food. I would say McGuigan Tyson.
Oh, very nice.
You're McGuigan, I'm Tyson.
Yes, although obviously different weight divisions there. So
yeah, that's why I'm absolutely battering you.
Yeah, fair enough. Although I and the people of Northern Ireland do love me, no matter where they stand on the sectarian divide.
Okay. Gooch Beefy.
Yes, okay.
In fact, you're neither, I'm both.
Okay.
So I'm sort of a studious sort of cricket brain box, and also just an instinctive run scorer, bowler, and you are the bowling machine.
Right, so
that just
I'm
throws
the
the ball.
nets.
You're the net. You're the net.
Yeah, okay, I'm nets. Keegan and Toshak. So you're Toshak, you're sort of lanky, you're Welsh, you go on to have quite a successful managerial career. I've got a beautiful body and I try very hard.
And you're sort of short.
Yes,
curly hair. You throw away the premiership by getting angry at Alex Ferguson.
Yeah, a couple of dodgy singles in the early 80s as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, so basically, I mean, if you were in any confusion before, you certainly will be more so now. I think that's the one thing we managed in this thing.
Radio.
Ellis James and John Robbins. Leicester Kids by Jane Perkins, Ellis James and John Robbins on Radio X. It's a new dawn. It's a bright new future. Things are changing, ladies and gentlemen, listeners. We've gone national. Obviously, Chris Mars is now our breakfast show host. John Holmes is doing breakfast in the mornings. Vernon Kay in the afternoon. Johnny Vaughan. And obviously, Ellis and John. I mean, we're still here.
We're old timers.
Yeah. Yeah, but like sort of people who sit on the veranda and drink some JD and play, blues riffs on our battered old acoustic guitars.
Well, actually, Ellis, I think no longer will there be talk of JD on this show, because regular listeners will know, and new listeners, welcome to this fun hashtag. One of me and Ellis's campaigns is, and this is quite hard to believe for a hip modern duo like ourselves, is to increase use of the sub 4.5% real ale.
It's a lot of fun on this show.
And our what's the word? Our tagline is keep it session.
Yeah. If you're going out there and you're enjoying if you're going out on a Sunday and you're enjoying some premium lagers at 4.95%, I mean, I dare say it's 5.1%. We're not in.
Is there such a thing? Is that legal?
It is legal. I think it's the Belgians that started it. But awful mistakes.
So for months now, it's been keeping session. However, Ellis, we have had an email from Andrew. Right. He says, and you can email the show saturday@radiox.co.uk. Andrew says, "Hello chaps, still love the show. It's my podcast highlight of the week, and it's invariably hilarious. That said, and I realise I'm swimming against the tide of alcohol here, I'm just wondering if there's any chance it could be a little bit less beery. I've been considering writing this email for weeks and wondered whether I was being oversensitive. Then this week, it got even more pronounced with the celebration of Ellis being wasted to the point of amnesia in Cyprus. Sometimes it's like I've stumbled over the loaded podcast by mistake." God. Well, Andrew, I am delighted to say that there has been a slight change to the Keep It Session moniker, as this Monday, Ellis James and I took part in TV show Drunk Histories. Now, you can't really get any less session.
Don't embarrass me, John.
No, so what happens is you got drunk under the auspice of...
like a TV historian.
Yeah, being a TV historian.
Like Simon Sharman.
And then you talk about an event from history. We talked about the Battle of Waterloo, and there's photographic and videographic evidence of how that affected Ellis. However, since then, Andrew, I have not touched a drop.
Yes, and Andrew, I had a really bad gig last night, and I had a Constellation Ribena, which I spilled on my groin, and then everyone on the tube thought that I'd wet myself, so...
And my girlfriend said, how are you going to keep it session now? And I said, well, I'm keeping it ultimately session, because I'm drinking 0.0% water, and sometimes green tea. So for the time being, Andrew, it'll be Ellis, who is our beer correspondent.
Yes.
And we're going to tweet a photo, which I love, of Ellis on set at Drunk Histories being tended to by a medic.
Oh, no, John!
And he makes that noise a lot in the cab on the way home.
Radio. Ellis James and John Rollins.
Regret, which is a tattoo I have on each forearm, one regret for each arm. New listeners to Ellis James and John Roberts here on Radio X will come to know over the weeks that I am sort of the dark, brooding, nostalgic figure, whereas Ellis tends to be quite chipper.
Oh, beers, lad.
So Regret's sort of become an anthem because Ellis sort of thinks it's written about me.
Well, it sounds like... It reads like poetry you wrote as a sort of 17-year-old.
Yes.
Which means I love that song now, because I imagine you in your sort of garret in Coventry.
So we've had a lovely text in from, tweet in, and you can tweet at Radio X, from Rami, who says, Ellis and John, the constant in this ever-changing radio world. Which reminds me of something I once wrote in a leaving card for the landlady of my local in Bristol, where I described her as the still point of my turning world. Which I'd had a few too many. I was slightly over-emotional. And it's actually a quote.
To a woman who was like serving you Fosters.
Fosters? No, a range of ales. So I described her as the still point in my turning world, which is a reference, this is super niche, to an essay about King Lear, in which someone described